There's no denying Vin Scully has made some of the most incredible calls in sports history. Scully's career saw countless moments, set infinite memories, and transformed the game. His voice was synonymous with baseball itself. You may think you know his best call. You may think you know this moment, but you don't know the half of it. This is Vin Scully's best call.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is.
In 8 innings, Fernando made 107 pitches. Behind the bag, gets through Buckner.
1 ball and no strike. Aaron waiting. The outfield deep and straight away.
And it's going to go to the backstop.
And the 2-1 pitch to the Minnesota center fielder.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
As a disclaimer, just know we will be dissecting every little piece of this historic moment. Why Vin said what he said, why he chose the cadence he chose. We'll break down every word and every breath he took. But before we get to what he said, let's start with what he didn't say. In case you hadn't figured it out yet, this is Hank Aaron's record-breaking 715th home run to become Major League Baseball's home run leader, surpassing Babe Ruth's 714 career homers. But I want to start with Milo Hamilton. Hamilton, an accomplished broadcaster himself, was calling the game for the Braves that day. You may know him for his iconic call with the Houston Astros.
Swinging, lining it to left. It's gone! It's gone! It's gone! Press Burke! Holy Toledo! What a way to finish!
But this is Milo's call for Hank Aaron's homer, and it's damn good.
Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron. The fireworks are going. Henry Aaron is coming around third. His teammates are at home plate, and listen to this crowd. A sellout crowd is cheering Henry Aaron, the home run king of all time. 7:15.
Great. Mentions 7:15, lays down the iconic home run champ of all time line, brings up the sellout. He actually might be the voice you associate with this moment. But let's head to the other booth where Vin Scully sits calling the game for the Dodgers. We'll start here, at the beginning of the at-bat.
Down at the belt, delivers, and he's low. Ball 1. And that just adds to the pressure. The crowd booing. Downing has to ignore the sound effects and stay a professional and pitch his game.
Vin brings up pressure. Well, obviously there's pressure. Hank Aaron hit home run number 714 on Thursday, April 4th. That's opening day and in his first at-bat. But he had to wait an entire offseason to do that. Home run number 713 came on September 29th, 1973. So it had been 191 days between two home runs. It's been 4 days, 7 plate appearances since tying the record. Now 7 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're sitting on history, it feels like a million. Off the field, things are worse. Aaron has done countless interviews on the subject. He's been receiving hate mail and death threats. He had to temporarily move out of fear. When on the road, he's booking hotel rooms with a fake name. He's even hired a bodyguard. Back on the field, it's the home opener for Atlanta Stadium. Aaron is playing in front of 53,775 screaming fans. This game is also on national TV. Oh, and he already walked in his first plate appearance on 5 pitches, then just saw ball 1 miss pretty badly in the dirt. So yeah, pressure. Okay, here it comes. The 1-0 pitch that makes history.
1 ball and no strikes. Aaron waiting. The outfield deep and straight away. Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back.
Hold up. Did Vin just say Buckner? Yes, that's Bill Buckner in left field. The same Bill Buckner Vin would call 12 years later during the infamous '86 World Series.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through
Buckner was in left field that night, and actually most nights. He started only 5 games at first all season. He went on to bat .314 in 1974, 4th highest season average of his career. But that doesn't really have anything to do with this. This Vin Scully doesn't know he's going to call that World Series game yet. Whatever. Okay. Ball's about to leave the yard. What are you going to say?
Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone.
Vin chooses "It is gone." Nothing iconic. What did Milo Hamilton say?
That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone.
No, that's right. So, same thing. Not iconic. There's only so many ways you can say home run. Vin never had a true go-to for homers, but he could have went the Gibson route.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
But he stuck with "it is gone," not "she is gone." So, the ball is out, crowd going wild. Aaron has the most home runs in baseball history, and then... nothing. Here, Vin goes silent for 26 seconds. This is a pretty common practice by Vin. On numerous occasions, he's talked about how much he loves the roar of the crowd. But 26 seconds isn't even close to that long by Vin Scully standards. In 1993, it was Game 6 of the World Series. And while this is probably the call you remember...
touch 'em all, Joe! You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life!
Vin was there too.
Fastball is hit to left field, down the line, in the corner, home run!
45 seconds of the crowd roaring. That's a good chunk of time. But hold on, let's go back to that Gibson homer. It's now 1988, Game 1 of the World Series, and perhaps this is the longest silence by any broadcaster.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
A whopping 1 minute and 8 seconds.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
So Vin, no stranger to silence, waits a conservative 26 seconds. And it works pretty good. Not too long, not too short. It's solid. So, silence over. It's time for Vin to talk again. He goes pretty standard, nothing that sticks out, but yes, beautifully stated.
What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world.
Okay, let's hold it right here. Vin hasn't done anything iconic at this point. It's actually pretty standard. He hasn't said the score, he hasn't mentioned Babe Ruth, and he hasn't even said 715. But this is where Vin takes a different route, and he changes what is a pretty good call into the best of his career. Remember, it's 1974. The civil rights movement has just ended. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated nearly 6 years ago to the day. The Rookie of the Year award still hasn't been named the Jackie Robinson Award. That happens in 1987. And it would be another 16 years before the United States begins tracking hate crimes with the passing of the Hate Crime Statistics Act. And even with all this, Vin Scully has the guts to say this.
What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
These 36 words elevate an, in all honesty, pretty average Vin Scully call to his greatest of all time. Vin doesn't touch on the news much. He doesn't touch on race much, unless it's to mention where a player is from. But when he does it, it's really good.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky. Havana, Cuba has arrived, and we have a 5-5 tie.
A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
Vin gets political here, something he never does. And and he nails it. This is the phrase that makes this moment the literal best of the best. The best home run hitter of a generation, with the best broadcaster making his best call. This is pure perfection. Okay, Vin, I've deconstructed you enough. Take it away.
And it is a great moment for all of us, and particularly for Henry Aaron, who was met at home plate not only by every member of the Braves, but by his father and mother. He threw his arms around his father, and as he left the home plate area, his mother came running across the grass, threw her arms around his neck, kissed him for all she was worth. As Aaron circled the bases, the Dodgers on the infield shook his hand, and that was a memorable moment. Aaron is being mobbed by photographers. He is holding his right hand high in the air, and for the first time in a long time, that poker face of Aaron shows the tremendous strain and relief of what it must have been like to live with for the past several months. It is over. At 10 minutes after 9 in Atlanta, Georgia, Henry Aaron has eclipsed the mark set by Babe Ruth.
Thanks so much for watching Deconstructed. One thing I didn't get to actually throw into the video that I thought it was really cool, that right there is the late Craig Sager, who was an NBA reporter and iconic NBA icon. He was one of the first people to talk to Hank Aaron after the homer. He talked to his parents, and he was just a kid at the time. I've linked a video down below of him talking about it. It's really cool. You should check it out.